Hey everybody, we back again.
We back.
Hey, everybody.
All right.
Not yet, Keshawn. Not yet.
I'm sorry.
You're
No,
good.
you're good. I'll let
That
you
was
know.
good.
Don't worry
I
about
like
it.
that.
Okay.
It's excited. Everyone else is
I'm
like,
Spencer. And of course, we have our licensed clinical therapist, Nas.
the voluptuous, the savory. I'm hungry.
That just means you're fat. All right.
Dr.
So,
Nas.
with that, this is the Different Spectrums podcast, where we talk about movies, shows, and the mental health aspects that surround them. We also like to have some laughs, so don't take us too seriously.
Or do. That's up to you.
There you go. Also, don't forget to run up those likes for us. We'd really appreciate it. All right. So he's already chimed in today, but we're gonna get to you right away. All right. So we have the owner of Lost Souls clothing brand. He's in Germany right now. The fact that he gets to be on this show is amazing. Please welcome Keshawn Jones to the show. Hello.
Hey, everybody. Excited to be here.
All right. We knew that from like the first sentence.
Too excited.
Yeah. Hey, that's all right, man. We love your excitement. We love your energy that you're bringing on right now. So don't hold back on that. Really don't. All right. All right. So with that, today we're going to be taking a look at a few scenes from the movie Yes Man. Yes, with Jim Carrey.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about social anxiety, isolation, a little bit of divorce in there too, to kind of mix up with the isolation, and then also being an introvert with extroverts around you, and how you can't audit life. Can't do it. Can't do it. So before we get into the show, Nas, have anything?
That was it. Won't have to give much more detail than that. We'll obviously get into the background and the what's going on and everything in the scene. Spence will get into that, and Keshawn. Just wanted to make sure that people know that on Spotify, if you're paying attention and listening on there, then go check out the polls and the questions that we have. So go ahead and start filling those out for us. Helps us create more data, better content. Actually helps us engage with you as well. Kind of figure out what's going on. It's beneficial for both. Same thing for the Instagram. Make sure that you're commenting on there. There's been a lot more comments lately. It's been wonderful. It's been pumping our podcast out to more and more people. So keep that up. I appreciate everyone. And let's have some fun. Let's therapize saying yes. Because we know y'all motherfuckers be saying no too much.
Thanks.
Can't say no to life.
Wow, really deep here. Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
There we go.
Shawty. I don't know why I keep saying that.
Stuck in there. No,
I told everyone at the breakfast dinner we had yesterday, I was like, sometimes I just like to yell the number 7 out loud. And they're like, I've never seen you do that. I was like, yeah, because I don't know you well enough to just yell it.
Dr. Nazir.
Yeah.
Here to help you out with all the needs.
7.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching our show today. We just wanted to take some time to give a special shout out to our collaborator, Cat and Raven Design. They are a small queer-owned business that specializes in LGBTQ plus pride soaps. They have great designs, some that even look good to eat, but don't. You can get 10% off your entire order if you use the code DSP or go to our link tree. Help support this great small business and help give back to a great community.
No. No means no.
Bonjour.
Carl, I know it's you. Oh, hey, man. I was just about to call you. That's so weird. Had your number dial, was about to press send. Did you block your number?
Yeah, I did. You never answer when I don't. So, what are you doing?
Oh, just hanging out in my apartment.
You did get my text, right?
What? Text? What?
We're all going out tonight.
Oh, man, that sounds great. I wish I could join you. I'm just so jammed up. I'm totally off the grid, you know what I mean?
No, I don't. At all.
I got a bunch of stuff going on. There's this thing I gotta do. Any other night would have been great. Darn it to heck.
Thing? What thing?
Thing, you know, just a thing. If I had my thing in front of me, I could tell you what it is, but I know there's a thing.
A thing? Huh. You know, I don't think there's anything written down in your fake calendar.
No, it says specific things.
Specific things, like get in line at the video store?
What? What are you talking about? I'm not at the video store. I'm in my apartment.
I can see you, Carl. I'm outside the video store.
That's not me.
It's not?
Oh, I know what's happening. There is this guy who looks just like me who goes a lot of the same video stores that I do. That's probably who you're seeing right now.
Wow, that's amazing. Because his mouth is moving in exact sync with what you're saying. Carl, I know you're not saying anything. Carl, get outside. I know you're not talking.
What?
Carl!
All right.
We are about to begin. Please find a seat.
Carl? Hey, Carl! Psst. Carl, man, hey!
Oh,
Carl!
hey, Nick.
You made it, man.
Oh, did you want to?
Sure, let me sit down. I knew you'd come. I saw it in your eyes, man. You're gonna love this. Terrence is a genius. He's gonna blow your mind all over the goddamn room. He's like a freaking mind grenade.
Not sure I want that.
Yeah, but you need it. That's why you're here. You have got to start saying yes, my man, and I mean to everything. Shh. Start.
Life. We are all living it. Or are we?
Ooh, heavy.
Change is generated from consciousness. But where is consciousness generated from? From the external. And how do we control the external? With one word. And what is that word?
The word is yes. Yes, yes, yes. Say it 1,000,000 times. Say it 1,000,000 more times. And the word you will have said 2,000,000 times is...
I want you to invite yes into your lives because it will RSVP yes. When you say yes to things, you embrace the possible. You gobble up all of life's energies and you excrete the waste. Before we begin today, I'd like to welcome our new members. Who among you is new?
He is! This guy right here! He's new. Over here!
Come on up, future yes man.
That's okay. I'm just auditing.
You can't audit life, my friend. Now get on up here.
No, thanks. I'm cool.
I'm sorry. What was that you said?
I said, I'm cool.
Before that?
Thank you.
Back up just a little bit more.
No.
Okay. If the molehill won't come to Terrence, Terrence will come to the molehill. What's your name?
Carl.
Let me guess, Carl. Someone talked you into coming here today, didn't they?
Yes.
And you're not sure about this, are you?
No.
You're dead, Carl. You say no to life, and therefore you're not living. You make up excuses to the people around you and to yourself. You're stuck in the same dead-end job you have been for years. You don't have a girlfriend.
You don't have anything close to a girlfriend. And you lost the love of your life because she couldn't be with someone who didn't live theirs. Wow. And on most nights, you're so bored and filled with ennui, you can't even summon the enthusiasm necessary to masturbate. Am I right, Carl?
I have had some trouble.
We're gonna make a covenant, Carl. Do you want to make a covenant? The word is yes, Carl.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Once you leave this building, every time an opportunity presents itself, no matter what it is, you will say yes.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
What if I say the other word?
You'll be making a promise to yourself. And when you break a promise to yourself, things can get a little dicey. What do you say, Carl? You ready to make a covenant?
Yes.
Yes!
Yes.
Yes!
Again.
Yes.
Say it again.
Yes!
Make me believe it!
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Yeah!
Hey everyone, before we get into the show, please check out our collaborator, Bubs Naturals. They sell a variety of health and wellness products, including collagen peptides, MCT oil powder, coffee, apple cider vinegar gummies, and other amazing products. Go to bubsnaturals.com and use our code DSP20 to get 20% off your entire order. And with that, let's get into the show. Hey everyone, we back again.
We back and we're live. For all of you that doubted Deion Sanders.
Yes.
3-0, baby.
3-0.
3-0.
I'll be honest, I was a little scared there.
Yeah, that was an epic game.
Yeah.
It
was nuts. I don't think they're going to win a couple more. They're going to lose some games this year for sure, but it's fun.
Yeah.
The streak is alive. It's been real fun.
Yep.
Pops made a bet on it, and he had like a 15-team parlay, and he cashed out early when the game was over, and he only got like a little bit of money instead of waiting until the end of the game, and he would have won a nice jackpot. He officially hates Deion Sanders.
It's not his fault. It's not his fault, man. Don't blame Deion.
Didn't the game end at 2 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah,
something like that. That's crazy.
2:30 in the morning.
Late.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's intense. I'm gonna buy us the Deion. I'm gonna pre-order us the Deion Sanders glasses.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I'm gonna pre-order them. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking about getting a Prime hoodie from Colorado. So
there you go.
Yeah. All right.
Let's get into the pod. Sorry, folks.
Yeah.
We're nerding out about football. It's a good time. Good time.
Yeah, I was like everyone else though. Before we get into anything, I was like everybody else. It was the Miami. Was it who they playing? Texas? No, I forgot who
Texas
they're playing.
A&M last week.
Yeah, so the first game before Colorado was Miami versus whoever, and during that time I was just like, I don't want to watch this shit right now. I don't want to watch Miami. Just get to Colorado. Just show me Colorado. Why are you teasing me right now?
Yep.
Then 20 minutes later it was on, but it's fine.
Yep. Culture.
Just a little rant there.
I know.
All right. So today we have a special guest. Like I said before, Keshawn. Why don't you kind of deep dive a little bit into who you are and what made you want to come onto the show?
Okay, yeah. Hello, my name is Keshawn Jones. I've been in the military, the Army, for about 7 years right now. I joined in 2015 when I was 18. I'm coming out of a little town in Oak Grove, Kentucky, right near Fort Campbell area. So not too much to do there. So I'm glad I got out. I run my own art group, Lost Souls. I work with a whole bunch of artists. Most of them come from Argentina, but I commission like anyone that I can, and always look for artists. So if you're artists out there, like follow my Instagram page, and I'll hopefully commission you. I came on this podcast because, one, I'm a huge follower of movies. I've been like since I was a kid. And yeah, like y'all, and I'm in school for social work, so I'm hoping to be a either a therapist or a life coach, like within my future. So when I grow up, so y'all do the exact thing that I absolutely love, combining movies with mental health and therapy. So y'all were perfect, and that's how I found y'all.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming on, Keshawn. We really appreciate it. And like I said before, we really actually do love your energy and what you're bringing on the show right now. So thank you. And I hope that you get that chance to be a life coach or a therapist one day, because I think other people are going to appreciate that energy too.
Yep.
Thank you. I got my graduation date in 2025. So working for it.
Hey, it's coming up. It's coming up. It'll come by real quick. So what kind of made you want to start doing like your own like your artwork group and things like that?
Actually, like the pandemic. So I was in a home by myself, and like I've done like absolutely nothing with the walls. So decided to do art. I think my first commissioned art piece was I forget it. I think his name is Gotenks, the fusion of Trunks and Gohan.
Oh yeah.
So that was like my first ever commission. I commissioned someone in Mexico to do the drawing for me. So and I just like loved it ever since. I went from that to like Pokemon fusions to eventually like when the pandemic hit, I worked with the artist with my own book. I went over the 7 Deadly Sins, doing like a representation of that from Dante's Inferno, the game, not the. I bought the poem too, but basically from the game. And it just kept going from 2020. I wanted to help out freelance commissioners who needed the money instead of like buying people's like OnlyFans and stuff like that, which no disrespect to like sexual sex workers and stuff like that. But I wanted to help out freelance commissioners.
Yeah.
Hey, we supporting people here, no matter what they say.
All the way.
No, that's awesome, dude. We actually randomly, we do have some folks that are probably our OnlyFans folks that'll probably come on the podcast as well. They're supporters, followers, and also what folks might not know. A lot of folks that are neurodivergent end up going into that as an occupation. That's what folks may not know. So no shame, no knock on that. Just another job.
Absolutely. I mean, that's where the money is. I mean, you can make a lot from it.
So so the books and all that stuff, is that on your website? And is it on Amazon, or how do people find that stuff?
Those books I made for me. I'm currently working on a book to like actually distribute out. It's like very, very early in the works. We're working on like making characters and stuff like that. But as far as like the clothes and stuff like that, I do have a lot like uploaded on my website. You can find with when they post a link here. But yeah, I try to keep everything original. I usually don't try to do like fan art, like I don't know, like anime or something like that. I always try to make it at least original. So yeah.
Okay. Well, when you get the book out, you let us know, and then we'll put it. If it goes on Amazon, we'll put it in our shopping cart. That way, other folks can see it.
Yeah, absolutely. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.
Of course. Can you give us a little bit of a deep dive into Lost Soul, the name Lost Soul, and what kind of made you want to do that?
Yeah, because well, the name came to me kind of thinking about like my idea of like how I conceptualize the thought of being lost. I think you have to be lost to find yourself like in this world in general. So it comes from that, and like a little bit from like Alice in Wonderland when she was looking for directions, asking the Cheshire Cat, and like if you don't know where you're going, like there's no wrong way to get there. So I really like that and apply it to life. Like find a direction, go in it, but if you don't know where you're gonna go, then you're not lost.
So Spence, he think he's smart now, Spence. See, he trying to take my job now. Oh, okay.
You're like, I have a new podcast, the Lost Soul podcast,
Yeah.
where we talk about movies and shows.
You know what? I don't
Son
even
of a
like
gun.
you motherfucker.
Son of a gun.
Let me tell you. Yeah. Look at Keshawn. Okay. He's dropping some knowledge, mixing movies with it. Lost Soul, the art, my company's name, Lost for Words Therapy. There's some similarity. I'm about to trademark sue your ass. That's what I'm about to do. That's awesome.
You're about to lose your money.
You're about to be really lost, motherfucker. That is awesome. Hearing him say those few things about Alice in Wonderland, he gets it. He gets how my mind works. He gets how other folks that are on the spectrum may work. Or not just spectrum, there's folks that see things in images that remember certain things in quotes. You know, we may not have the words, but you might be lost for those words, and yet other film will show you.
Right.
And you're right. If you don't know where you're going, then how are you actually lost? Because there's no wrong way to go. So you just walk down the path and you kind of see what happens. And that's kind of what I teach people in therapy. It's not a wrong way. It's not a wrong way.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I like that. That was good. I got excited there,
Really
Spence. When I started looking like this, I'm like,
Yep. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Dropping some knowledge.
Dropping some knowledge, boy. That's when when I see a fresh tamale, I'm like, damn, that look good.
Here we go. That's the first food reference for the
First
day.
food reference.
Three more.
I see that motherfucker steaming, the corn wrapping. I see it.
That technically, all right. Moving on. But yeah, thank you so much, Keshawn, for joining us today. Can't wait to get your insight on Yes Man, which we're about to get to right now. So, if you don't know, Yes Man is a movie featuring Jim Carrey. He plays Carl, who is always saying no to things, always no, right? Even to his friends, just saying no. But then one day, while he's working, he has this guy named Nick that he knows, and Nick introduces him to Terrence, who is this kind of guru when it comes to saying yes. Yes. And so now the first thing that we kind of go into is the scene where they're at this convention center for Terrence and his guru of yes, right? And so Carl is actually picked out of the crowd because Nick kind of helps with that. But Carl is picked out of the crowd. And Carl and Terrence make this covenant of you have to say yes. If there is an opportunity to say yes, you have to say yes. And he starts doing so. And if you've seen the movie, he starts saying yes to everything, and it opens up these different opportunities for him. And he's finding that now he's actually being a lot happier because he's saying yes, and he's actually opening his eyes up to all these different opportunities. And it kind of backfires a little bit, like in between, because you can't just have him be happy but saying yes to everything, right? So now he's trying to find that balance between saying yes, but then also saying no to things that he might not need to say yes to.
Yeah,
right.
And so so from this first scene, what about social anxiety kind of gets to you, Keshawn? Have you been in like these situations where you're in a group setting and like you have to say yes to something in order to kind of blend in with everyone else in the group?
Absolutely. Especially like when you're in a social group setting with your friends, you feel like you have to, or like not forced to, but like you're forced to.
Right.
You never want to be that guy in a group that says no.
Right. Totally. Yeah. Naz, I'm actually kind of curious about this because you brought it up a little bit. What are your dynamics when you have like group therapy and things like that? Like, what do you kind of go into? Is it kind of I'm not going to say it's totally like what Terrence is doing, but is it in the same realm?
I definitely don't like shake up people like that.
Yeah, no. So you're not shaking no one like that. But if we're talking about one-on-one in therapy, sometimes for those of you who don't see it, he's like squeezing the hell out of his Grogu.
Don't say it like that.
Oh,
Don't say it
sorry.
like that. Don't be
Shaking him
calling
up?
it a Grogu.
Isn't it a Grogu?
I'm talking about something else.
Oh, okay.
Don't be
Jesus.
shaking your Grogu like that. Everyone on Spotify, it's a plushie of Grogu, Baby Yoda. So don't
Nice clarification there.
Yeah.
don't use your imagination there.
Why is it green?
I didn't have enough penicillin.
Oh, yeah, I ran out at the store. All they had was butter. I couldn't think of nothing else. I'm sorry.
All right, good.
So, one-on-one therapy, sometimes I can be a little bit more assertive and aggressive. But let's go back to the group because I felt like it felt like a group therapy type thing.
Yeah.
I actually don't have to take the reins. In group therapy, it is actually up to everyone else to kind of check each other and hold each other accountable, to validate, to empathize, to push, to question, be like, I don't know if you're doing the right thing, Bobby. Like, no. So that's what I've loved about group therapy, especially with adults, is they're like, no, this is bullshit. What are you doing? You're self-sabotaging. This isn't right. That's what I enjoy about that. But it definitely has like a group therapy vibe because there's people, you can hear them saying yes and you can do it and come on, man.
I was going to ask about that. Like, have you ever seen that within group therapy where it's like a mob mentality?
If the person's doing something that they shouldn't be and it's already been talked about multiple times and they're going back on what they said they were going to do, that's a thing. Most of the time, the mob mentality is love and affirmation. So everyone will be like, we support you, we got you, what else do you need? Everyone will be really loving and attentive, things like that. Yeah. It's never like harassing. Although I've had some students talk about how they hate their professors or family member or whatever, and I'm going to swear and be like kind of vulgar. But like, yeah, fuck Mark. And everyone will be like, yeah, fuck Mark, man. That guy's a piece of shit, man. And those are the funnest things because I'm just sitting there just watching. I'm like, yeah, fuck Mark too, I guess.
Yeah, that guy's terrible.
Fuck that guy. He's actually a good guy. I don't know. There's like a million Marks. That's the mob mentality, and a lot of the students will like that in group therapy because then they don't feel so crazy because if everyone has that same opinion of the situation, makes them feel pretty good and validated. But it's never attacking the individual.
Right.
The shaking type of thing, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes you want to shake some folks.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll talk about that scene in a second because there's a couple funny things I want to talk about with the microphone and the shaking. We'll get into it. But it has a group therapy vibe, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go back to the first scene where it's the beginning of the movie, and Carl is he's in a video store and he's just not answering his phone. Just doesn't want to do it. Doesn't want to do it. We've all been in that predicament, right?
Yeah.
You get a phone call. You're like, I don't want to answer this, especially if I don't know the phone call. Me personally, if I don't know the phone call, I'm not answering. I don't care if it's like verified or not. Not going to do it because I don't know you. You can leave a message. If you don't leave a message, probably wasn't that important to begin with.
Right.
True.
Just saying. But have any of you kind of had that feeling of just like, I'm not answering this phone call because A, it could be annoying, or B, it could take up a lot of my time?
Yeah, for me, like customer service is like a part of my job. So like I have to be the one to like either start the call or like make calls in general or answer. And I absolutely hate it. I have to like teach myself to like pick up the phone, but I let it ring for about 3 or 4 times before I actually pick it up sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah. So before I forget, so I used to get a lot of telemarketing calls and all that, and then I realized that there was this thing through the government, this no call, no contact list.
Right.
And that's drastically reduced the amount of spam calls and like solicitors that I went to. So it's like legit, you go on the government website for no contact or no solicitation, you put your number in there. I was worried because some people said they see that you're on no contact and then now your number's available. Now everyone starts contacting you.
Right.
That was not my experience. It actually dropped from like 3 to 4 phone calls a day to like 0, 1 a week.
No.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I still get the text messages that are like, "Hey," I'm like,
Click on this link.
"Yeah,
You'll be fine.
click on this link. Hot local singles near you." I'm like, "What the hell?
How did they know?
How do you know?" Damn, Bobby.
African King offering you $1 million.
I just have to click the link? Wow.
That's
Okay.
it. That's it. So I still get those, but besides the point.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to answer phone calls as well, especially when I'm like, damn man, you can just send a text. Like I'm busy and shit. Like,
Yeah.
just it's not even an anxiety thing. It's like a waste of time thing.
Mm.
But also, I might not be in the right energy or the right mode, the right vibe to answer like a phone call.
Right.
I think the only people that I like call directly, like even when I call you, I usually text you first. But like Colin's probably the only one I call like directly. But that's only after he sends me a picture of the baby, and then I call him to talk to the baby.
Yeah.
It's like the invite. But I don't ever just randomly call someone. It's like I'm not a psychopath.
Right. They have to be scheduled. Are you like a pacer when you call?
What'd you say?
Like someone who have to be like standing up, pacing back and forth when they call?
So Colin is, he likes to be busy, my BFF, and I'm usually laying on my tummy. I'm always laying down. So I'm usually just staring at my, not my stomach. I'm laying on my stomach staring at the phone. Damn, it got me.
Me myself, I pace sometimes. It depends on like what it's about. Like if I do like an interview or something, I kind of like to walk around just to kind of keep my mind going. Or move around, whatever. But usually if it's just like a chill phone call, I'm just in bed, just laying down. Yeah.
Okay. I would say like for me with video calls and stuff like that, I can be like laying down and stuff like that. But like actual phone calls, like I have to be like walking around and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
I would say I'm a doodler.
Yeah.
Here's a story. I was calling a hospital the other day, right, for the clinic to get my students some medication. I said, let me call to make sure that I'm setting this appointment up right. And let me make sure I figured it out. Because, they got bad ADHD, and I figured I'd just call instead of sending them to the website. So I call. And I just, I'm calling on the work phone. I'm doodling with my phone. I accidentally click on Instagram. Then I click on a reel was on there. And the reel is a woman talking about how she doesn't want to get into a date or a relationship because that means either you're going to break up or you're going to marry that person, and that's terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
So what it goes is, oh my God, I can't do it. Lord help me. Lord help me. The lady at the hospital goes, sir, is everything okay? I just look at my client that's sitting there and she's just shaking her head like, you fucking idiot. I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. I was like, I just need to know, how do people make appointments? She's like, long as everything's okay, sir, just go online. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Have any of you have like Keisha? Have you ever made an appointment for somebody over the phone? That's just like you have to have all the information, and I'm just like, oh, I don't have that. I gotta call you back.
That's the one thing they don't tell you when like you're like graduated from high school is like how to do that stuff like on your own. So you're out there just kind of like on the fly.
Yeah,
I've had friends who just had like breakdowns, like trying to like actually make a call, like trying to set up a dental appointment or doctor's appointment, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's tough for people who, especially if they have like anxiety about picking up a phone and calling.
So social anxiety, just processing issues, maybe either verbally or just ingesting things. Executive functioning when it comes to thinking about your calendar, time, situation. Some folks have to think about rides, what day, what time is lunch. Like there's a lot that can go into it that can cause someone to be overstimulated. It's not simply someone. I can hear some folks listen to what you said and be like, "Oh, that's stupid." Some people think different, and there's a lot more intricate things and step-by-step tutorials that have to go through in someone's mind before it can be filtered out and then uttered into the microphone. Very valid. I think this scene is more about him not wanting to do anything. Like you said, he was divorced, and he just doesn't want to partake in anything. He's isolating. He's just. And it's old because of the movie 300 he was looking at, so it's old.
Yeah. And the first Transformers.
Yeah, the good days.
Yeah.
And so that's a little bit different than what we're talking about, but still the metaphor, right? The similarities, the parallel of it, very, very same, very close. I feel like many people will relate to that and seeing the phone. Oh, nope.
immediately.
No, no, oh, they call back again. No, and then you actually answer it. Hello, Bobby. You know?
Guten Tag. Like, oh, I must have the wrong number. I must have called a German number.
Yeah. Did he say Guten Tag in the movie? He did.
Bonjour.
Oh, he said
Yeah.
bonjour. Yeah. I was like,
I just
damn, that's
messed it up.
eerily similar.
Irony.
So that perfect scene there.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting is, well, we'll kick it back to Keshawn with this.
Yeah.
Why specifically did you choose that scene?
One thing because of that, because definitely like I hate phone calls in general. But two, being in a friend group when you're the introvert and you usually don't go out. You usually want to stay to yourself and stuff like that. But it's still hard to like maintain those friends who do go out, who get married, have social events and stuff like that. But you feel like you don't want to. So I wanted to talk like a little bit about that, like being the introvert in the extroverted friend group.
Spence, what do you know about that stuff? Because I feel like you're somewhat of that cat.
Oh yeah, I am definitely that. I that's the thing. It's just like it does get a little bit isolated because it's like they know that you're an introverted person, and so they don't really, sometimes they don't really ask you to do things. That's more of like out there kind of social settings and things like that, because they know you're just probably going to say no anyways. So, that gets a little isolated in that sense. But I'm lucky to have a lot of people who, like, even if I may not want to, they still ask me if I want to, go out and do things, go play basketball, go see a movie, something like that. And that, it's a great thing to, I'm glad I have those people in my life, but at the same time, if I didn't, then I probably wouldn't have as much time to, or even want to go out at all.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're kind of seeing with Carl. It's just like he's really isolating himself from everybody. And for him, he thinks that's like his like only time he can be kind of joyful, right, is by himself. But then, like I said, later in the movie, he really finds out that once he starts saying yes to all these different things, to going out and doing things outside of his kind of comfort box, so to speak, he starts to really kind of find things that he really loves and just starts enjoying life to at least the fullest that he can. So I really feel that, because sometimes when I'm like, I shouldn't do this, I really have to push myself to go out, and for the most part, it's for the best.
Isn't that something? Though? Like I don't want to leave the house, but I know I should leave the house and go do this thing with friends, or I should go work out. Keyword is should. I should do this. I should do that. I could have done that. I know that this would be beneficial for me, but like as soon as you lay in that bed after you get home from work, it's a tough sell.
Right.
Really tough.
Like as soon as I told my dad the other day, right, because folks know Pops disabled, we all live together, my brother, and I laid down. I love laying down after work, and then I'll twist my back and stretch, and you can hear it just unhinge, ding, ding, ding. And then I just start screaming. I think Spence sent me a picture of it, a reel of someone stretching the other day.
Did I?
Yeah, you did. And they were making like a high-pitched screaming voice.
Oh, yeah.
It's true, because when you get that good stretch, you mean,
your legs start shaking.
Yeah, your legs start shaking. For me, it's just my back literally goes, and then I just sink into the bed, and I'm like, why would I leave here?
Right.
This bed loves me. No one will ever love me like this bed.
That doesn't speak.
It's been a good relationship so far. So.
Yep, you and your bed, really good.
But
have you ever bought tickets or bought tickets for an event that you really wanted to go to in like day of, like absolutely did not want to go and didn't?
Yeah.
Okay, for me, no. It's because I ain't wasting no money. So if I buy the tickets, I'm not wasting money. But there will be anxiety because parking, food, situations, tons of people, making sure my brother's cool. So that overwhelming feeling may want me to not want to go and make me a little sus about it. but I'm still going to go. But I will pause on that. Some people may think this is stupid. I was traveling Germany and Italy with my boy years ago before the pandemic, and he got sick, so he had to go back to Nuremberg because he was sick. Then also he found out his girlfriend, and then it became his baby mama. So he found out while we was in Italy. So I went up and finished the trip by myself, and I was in Venice, and I traveled the first day, and it was awesome. It was all day walking, boats, all the stuff. The second day, I probably should have went out and did stuff. I just didn't feel like being anxious and doing all this stuff again. I just sat in the hotel, straight up watched New Girl the whole day. People may see it as a waste. I was just tired and I was overwhelmed, and I was like, I just need a day. I need a day.
Absolutely.
Some people may see it as a major waste. So it depends. I answer that question and you say, Keshawn, yes and no. Most of the time, I'll do it. If it's an extended period of time, I know my well-being and my mental health, I need to shut it down and take a day off.
Absolutely. I got you.
Spence, what are you thinking?
Well, for me, it was more of like if it's like something that either I didn't spend too much on, like say like 10, $20, that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I remember one time it was like this like yoga event because I've worked at Lululemon before, and you know they have all these different events and stuff, and it had me going and driving, but it was like in the middle of the winter, so I was like,
yep.
I shouldn't have said I was going to go to this because I'm not. Yeah, and I've just found myself like sometimes when I look at like the environment and being like, yo, I'm not trying to drive 10 minutes in the snow to get to this thing that I'm probably not gonna, maybe I won't like. Maybe I won't like. I'm not gonna say I wouldn't like it if maybe I wouldn't like it. That's the problem. It's like when I could just sit in bed and know that I'm going to like being in my bed. So yeah, I totally get that viewpoint of like, especially laying in bed and you just feel like you're in your zone, you're comforting, and you don't need to do anything, right?
Yep.
But you know, maybe something eventful could have happened if I did go, and things like that. And that's the thing. It's like you want to promote the fact that you want to be comfortable. But sometimes you do have to be a little uncomfortable and get out of your comfort zone because a lot of good things can happen.
That's what the magic happens.
In a situation. And it always depends on the situation. Not every situation's the same. So you can't say like, oh yeah, just get out of your comfort zone. Everything will be fine. No, definitely not going to say that because that's not true at all.
No.
But yeah, it definitely depends on your situation.
And your exposure. Yeah, exposure, or you're overwhelmed. Like, where's your battery at? Depends on other things.
Yeah.
I know for me,
that's a good question to ask where your battery's at.
Yep, where's your battery? So for me, like the gym, you know, I get anxious about going. I love the gym. I'm a big boy, so most folks would, you know, look at me like scared.
Mm-hmm.
But man, if there's a lot of people in there, I don't want to go. Like I'll check the gym on the Google to see how packed it is or whatever, and I'd be like, oh hell no, I ain't going to that shit.
I feel that.
So that'll stop me from going to some things because that social anxiety of like waiting or talking to people or eye contact, or there's too many good looking people in here, and I'm like, God damn, I'm the ugliest motherfucker in here.
I know they know I'm staring. I know.
No, I just feel like a little troll that walks in there. Beep bop.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey. No.
I wanted to pick up where Spencer was saying like earlier, just like you know, like Carl went from a relationship, like a marriage or whatever. Like even if you're like in a long-term relationship and you're coming out of that, I think you built like a level of comfort within that lifestyle. So like bouncing back from that, like what's your take on that? Like just trying to like create a life like outside of that relationship after so many years or months or however long you've been in a relationship, being routine with someone and then coming out of that.
So let me vibe in real quick, Spence.
Yeah.
So back to the previous question, when you said, you know, it's hard if everyone's extroverts and you're an introvert. So working with my clients is, you know, they got to know and respect and love you to know when you can do these things. What is your threshold for your battery? But specifically, you can't always say no, because if you always say no, then people stop inviting you. So you need to keep them somewhat guessing, and you need to go 2 out of every 3 times, 1 out of every 3 times. You need to continuously try to show up. And also, if you don't feel comfortable with those people, why? You know, maybe those aren't your people because you're holding back. Maybe you're masking and you're neurodivergent and something's going on and it's just too much. So you can't be your authentic self. So then it's why do that and be someone else when you can just be yourself at home? But it's good to have those extroverted people to pull you out. Immediately, I thought of me and Spence. So let's say Spencer was the Jim Carrey version. I'm like the annoying dude, like, hey,
Yeah.
what's up, man? How you doing?
Yeah.
That was me.
Yeah, you were Bradley Cooper.
Or no, I'm talking about the dude at the next scene.
Oh, you're talking about the
next scene, the like annoying guy. He's like, he's a new guy.
He's talking about Nick, where he's like,
Bradley
yeah,
Cooper.
he'll take you to wherever you want.
Yep.
Talking to a homeless guy. You're like, no.
Yeah. I was like, that's me. So
Okay.
when
I
I'm working
gotcha.
with clients with like legit anxiety, shy, you know, maybe not the best with social skills, maybe they need someone to be the first one to cha-cha. They need someone to lead in this dance, this salsa dance of socializing.
Mhm.
Extroverts, folks with ADHD, they're a little bit better at that. You know, they're a little bit more impulsive, and so they can maybe take the lead, and a lot of us more shyer, introverted folks can then follow along. It's comfortable. There's a yin and yang. Both parties are needed, because you'll find out that the introverted people actually like to talk a lot, but only with people that they're comfortable with.
Mhm.
You know, so it's a little bit of thing, because how do these introverted shy people meet people? Well, you usually got to have some jackass, I say that with love, with ADHD to pull them out of their shell. Both parties are needed. You just got to make sure that the one that talks a lot doesn't overwhelm the one that doesn't, or to make sure that it's reciprocal, because you can't have it just one way. It's like me, I started to notice with Colin, you know, a long time ago, years ago. My dad's like, you know, you talk a lot. I was like, yeah, so? He's like, you know, you should allow Colin, your friend, to talk. Well, I was like, he ain't got nothing to say, so I'm going to just fill up the space. He's like, that's not how it works. And I was like, how dare you father me right now?
Father.
How dare you? All right, so I want to make that point.
Yeah.
Going back to the relationship thing. You know, some people are going to be depressed. You know, some people are going to feel, what's the point? I don't want to get hurt again. It's hard to make new friends. I mean, God, to date someone, you got to talk and go on first dates, and then there's anxiety, and then you get hyper-focused on,
color?
yeah, what's your favorite color? What did my breath smell like shit? Yep, it did.
Whole process. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a whole thing, and that's hard for some folks. So it's easier to be alone. Some folks don't like to be alone because that freaks them out. That makes them feel worthless. Other folks are like, hey, I ain't going through this shit again. Different strokes for different folks. I've therapized everyone from every spectrum from a breakup. Anxious attachment, avoidant attachment, all of it. But like you said, how do you get someone to start coaxing their way back into reality and living life?
Mm-hmm.
And that takes a little bit of time. Finding their safe people and stuff like that, making sure that you don't judge them when they're not meeting people. Keshawn, because some of them will be like, well, I didn't do anything this week. I didn't try. That's fine. Let's talk about why you didn't try to meet anyone, or why you didn't join that group, or why you joined yoga, but you missed all the classes. What's getting in the way of you taking the next step? I remember one client, I wanted them just to join a knitting club. I said, go look on Facebook. You'll find some people around you. It's fucking New York City. There's tons of people. Oh, they're all weird as shit on there, and then you're like, you know, ugly looking. I said, okay. You know, I screen shared. I said, let's look this shit up. I went and looked it up. I said, everyone on there was gorgeous and young. I said, okay, so all these people funny looking. She said, well, look at her. I said, what? Ain't nothing wrong with her. She's like, look at that thing in the background. I said, oh, whatever, man. Everyone's got 5 mannequins in the background. Whatever. It's New York.
Yeah, you know, with bloody handprints on them. That's fine.
But people will make up these excuses so that they don't have to do things because they think other people will judge them. And I'm like, you're trying to meet new friends. That's it. You're trying to meet new connections. And maybe that won't be your friend, but maybe that'll lead you to the next person, the next human that might be your friend.
Yeah.
I didn't go to the basketball game and meet and thinking I wasn't best friends with the guy that took me there. He was okay. He was weird. And then I ended up talking to Spencer, and then it was like my type of weird though. I took a shot on going to this intramural basketball thing and ended up meeting Spencer. So that's why I wanted to tie in some of those things. Divorce, breakups are tough, depression, anxiety. What the hell's the point? Take your time. I'm going to make sure that everyone knows that. Take your time after these things.
Yeah.
But eventually, like Spence said, you got to get out and do something because otherwise it's just a very lonely place.
Yeah, totally.
Any seasoning you want to put on that, Spence?
Yeah. I mean, when I broke up with my girlfriend of 3 years, I was lucky enough because I had Nas literally right there to kind of talk things through, but then also just kind of there to, hang out with them and just have laughs with, and, being able to not just stick into my, just being alone in my room, sulking, being like, what could I have done differently? All that bullshit. Like when it comes to breaking up in relationships, it's always nice to rely on your friends. And like with Carl, he wasn't really relying on his friends. He was ignoring them and isolating himself, right? Even though they gave him tons of opportunities to, hang out with them. And that's kind of what I think about when you have a breakup. It's more instead of just trying to find somebody new to start a relationship with, kind of bring back to your friends, and your group, and just stick with them instead, and make sure, and obviously don't overdo it and just, rely on them all the time to be there for you. They're not, right? But at the same time, always make sure that your core group is there for you. And if they're not, I mean, then you might have to try to find new friends, honestly.
Folks. But try to add back into what you already have and reconnect with the folks that you used to love more. Because relationships take away from your friendships. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
A question for you, Keshawn. So have this ever happened to you where you broke up with someone or got broken up with, and then you went to ghost mode, you shut it all down, or did you like extrovert and like start hanging out with people and doing your thing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So like my first like real like adult relationship came like shortly like after high school, and we actually like lived together. Like she cheated, broke up, and left me like in a house alone. So like I was like completely devastated for like a few months. What got me kind of like rebounding and like from like high school and stuff like that, like a lot of our friends were the same like friend core from school. So it was basically like starting like a whole new. So what got me to rebound was traveling, like going outside of the house, because I really didn't feel comfortable like in that house anymore. So I just started like traveling out, going to different places, seeing different things. Especially like from being like from Kentucky, where there's like literally nothing but Nashville. Started going down to the beach in Alabama, Florida, and like trying different places and like getting to talk and interact with people who don't know me. So that's what got me started, and that's how I started like traveling for like the past like 5 or 6 years.
You just did it after a couple of months though of like pain, confusion, maybe a little loss, right? Because there's the grief of the relationship, the anger, the why. There's a lot of stuff that goes into the emotional turmoil after what you just said, because that's a tough one, right? But then eventually, the pain goes away, the anger goes away a little bit, and then you start to be like, all right, I got to be a butterfly and cocoon my ass out of this, because otherwise I'm just going to die in the sadness. You see how I pulled that together? Yeah.
Like there's nothing that dictates that time like in between. Like for me, it probably took around like 5 to 6 months. And that's like including like family and friends, like trying to get me back on the ball. So like nothing dictates that time. Like you move at your own pace with the healing.
It is. Is what Definitely. It is. Everyone's their own pace. I said so. I didn't get a chance to rewatch the show because I was super busy, and I didn't remember that he was divorced. So that makes sense on a lot of the stuff on why he was saying no and why he was so reclusive. And so I'm glad people will get to see that and they know that background now, because I'm sure a lot of folks in here have been through friend breakups, relationship breakups, family disputes. A lot of the folks that listen to us are LGBTQ+. That's a whole dynamic between cutting off family members. A lot of our folks are people of color. Sometimes we have to set sharp boundaries with family members. There's the grief and the shame and the guilt of that, of not supporting, not being the interpreter for some of our parents that speak Spanish and Arabic or whatever other language. It's tough. And then you have to live with that. I know for a lot of my clients that are neurospicy, sometimes it's hard to break out with people because they're like super, super nice and you're super, super nice. But that's not the right person for you, but you don't want to hurt that person because that was your best friend at a time when you needed them. So there's like this feeling of responsibility. Then eventually the breakup happens and that person's devastated because they just hurt their best friend and now they lost their best friend. So you'll see that in some neurodivergent relationships where you lose your best friend. And that was the only person that you had. So like Spence said, find your other people. It's like, ah, shit.
Yeah.
That was my person. So now you have to build back up from zero, which can be done. Keshawn literally just said that's what he did. Okay. Lovely scene. And I think a lot of people relate to the phone call thing and also just the pushing people away. Like, motherfucker, I see you in your house. No, that's not me. No, I see your lips moving. No, that ain't me, brother. Can you imagine if I did that to you, Spence? Like I see your fat ass in there now. I was like, that's you. No, that's another motherfucker. That's another Samoan looking dude. That ain't me.
I hear you slurping on fucking soup, man. I know it's you. I know it's you.
You know my ass loves some soup, boy.
I know you. I hear it. I hear it. I hear it. I don't know what else you think that is, but I know.
You the only one that poured the soup in your mouth and while you're chewing the egg roll.
Never seen it done. Never seen it done.
Never seen it done, but it can be done.
It can be if you really try.
Again, friends. Sometimes you need to have a friend that's pushy.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's okay to be the one that, like I said, that's following in the dance. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, societal norms, everyone needs to be masculine. Everyone needs to be leading. Everyone doesn't need to lead. Everyone doesn't need to. All right. Any more seasoning or any questions that you had for us, Keshawn? Because you've been asking some good questions.
I know.
Not really. I mean, like those were like the main things like I wanted to hit on.
Okay, let's get into the next scene.
Yeah. So, like I said before, this is the convention scene, right? Where Terrence is talking about yes, and Terrence gives this ultimate. Yeah.
What's that? Yeah, that's what it was.
Daniel Bryan. Yeah.
Yes.
But Terrence gives this great advice of not you can't audit your life, right? Let's talk a little bit about that. What do you think about that line? You can't audit your life, Keshawn.
Okay, yeah, so like it's all about the asterisks between like your birthday and death date. So like you want to fill that with as much time as possible, like with moments and memories and stuff like that. And you can't audit life. You have not every day is going to be special. You're going to have those mundane Mondays and Tuesdays that you don't forget, like nothing literally happens. But it's about filling that time and space in between with just moments you want to do, like try something new, like do something different. Find out a passion, find out a love, and just stick with it, and you'll be happy in life.
Hey everyone, I wanted to give a special shout out to our collaborator, Two Nerds Candle Company. Not only do they have great products, but they are also giving back to a great cause. You can tell that they take a lot of pride in making their candles. My favorite is Spock's Monday Coffee. They are also donating 10% annually to support Women in STEM, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. You can use our code DSP or go to our link tree to get 20% off your entire order. We think that this company is great, and we think you will too, so go check them out. Hey, are you a nerd? Do you like pins? If you're like any of our followers and you said yes, you should check out our collaboration with Pinfinity. They have Power Rangers pins, Transformers pins, and for all of our bronies out there, My Little Pony pins. Go check out our link tree or use our code DSP to get 20% off your Pinfinity order today.
I think what he's saying to add on that or to refine it is if you already have those passions, and maybe as we just talked about in one of our previous podcasts, Spencer, that you had us do on Dolomite, where the dad shit on him and said, "This is all you ever be. You'll be nothing. You're just gonna be a farmer." And he's like, "No, I want to do stuff. I want to do movies. I want to do comedy. I want to be known." You'll see in a lot of families where they might poo-poo on that, and so you may lose your interest or lose your special interest or your hobbies because they're not normal, or maybe that's not what successful people do. Where right, like drawing, like you're a drawer, you're an artist, right? And that's not what a lot of folks are doing. Maybe you won't make a lot of money in that, but this is what makes me feel good. This is what allows me to express myself. This is what's fun. This is what allowed me to connect with other people around the U.S. and around the world. And now you're doing a podcast. So following your special interests might be the thing that you actually need to do to make you actually feel alive. And maybe you don't need to be the best at it, but if something brings you peace and gives you creativity and expression, then do it.
Absolutely.
So I advise anyone listening, if you have a special interest, do it. You know, of course, there's time management, making sure you're not doing it 24/7. Like a human came in the other day. That's when you're doing between classes. You're doing this, and this. No, I'm just making music. Okay, so what about socializing? Like we talked about. No, just making music. Okay.
Yeah.
So what about all those other people that are making music? Or have you talked to them? No, I don't like their music. Okay, so the homework was to socialize. Not sure where we went wrong on that one. Well, I don't see the point. But you told me you wanted me to help you to socialize. But now I'm starting to understand that you only wanted to socialize because you think it's a social norm and a construct, but actually you don't want to, and you're quite fine living the way you are. Yes. Oh, so let's just accept that. But that's not what I'm supposed to do. Who set that rule?
Right.
And I said, okay, I need you to stew on this. We'll meet again. We'll come back to the drawing board, but I don't think we need to be like other people. And if this is your special interest, just make sure you're doing your other daily activities, eating, hygiene, all this other stuff, keeping up with what you need to. School. So I just want to say that. Obviously, me and Spence have talked about building passions, having fun, doing things, but I like that he said, Spence, some days are just boring as shit.
Yeah.
I mean, someday I'm just sitting in the bed, I ain't doing shit but scrolling. Like, I don't think there's something wrong with that, but society would be like, well, you need to do something. You know, you need to get better, you need to have output, you need to draw more. Like, I know what, I think I can just like lay in the bed. I think I'm gonna just scroll on my phone while I'm sitting on the toilet for 30 minutes and my legs go numb.
Yeah, and that just be fine. I think like American culture like has like an issue with that, especially with monetization. Like everything, you don't have to make money from your special interest. You can just do your special interest, and like that just be it, and be happy with that.
Correct. I've actually, some of my clients have get mad at me sometimes because I'm like, this special interest, you're really good at this. You should sell this, and like I don't want to sell it. I'm like, you can make money from it. They said, no, then it's not fun anymore. And so sometimes I need to stop myself from like, you can make some money on this, homie. I don't know what you're doing. But it takes away the joy. It takes away the fun.
Yeah,
they just rather give it away. They do. That's what they do. They give it away.
Yeah.
I have a friend back in Texas. She just makes stuff. I call it like gadgets and gasmos, but she's a maker. Like she just makes stuff like in her home, and like she doesn't do it for money. She doesn't sell around or anywhere. She just like hangs it up around her house, and like her entire house is like an art museum. And I was like, why don't you like sell it? But like she just makes it for her. It makes her happy, and I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
It's what it is, and there's no need for us to change them, and to think that they should monetize it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I asked one boy, Spencer, at St. Mary's, that collected thousands of those what are them toys that you put together that you build them?
Legos?
No, not Lego.
Bionicles?
Gundams. It was the Gundam stuff.
Gundam. Okay.
Yeah, it was in there. I was thinking it was a robot with wings.
With a robot with the lightsaber. I remember.
The robot with the
But it's not a transformer.
In the back, it looked like one, but it's the Asian one.
The Asian transformer.
Jesus Christ.
We don't condone or
anything. We don't condone any racial. Yeah. I don't even know what I was about to say. Oh, I said you put all these things together, you should sell them. Because he said he buys them, and he said, look, 2-3 years later, he shows me the website. Said you can sell them for like $300. He only bought it for like $100.
Yeah.
I said, sell. He said, no, I like these. I'm keeping these. I said, okay. So when I left the school, that person literally bought me one.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah,
remember.
I got it in the box at the house because I don't have enough places to put all my damn toys. Um, and it's actually quite expensive if I was to resell it, but I'm not going to because it reminds me of good times with all my students at my old school.
Yeah.
I actually have a story about that.
About the
About
Gundam?
something I recently had. No, Gundam. So, all right. So I've
Go
talked
ahead.
about this before, especially with you, Naz. About those so there's these skate decks that
Go
this
ahead.
place made called Santa Cruz skateboards, and they made these decks, all Pokemon decks, right? And they literally made them so that they're like trading cards for each deck, and you don't know which one you get. And they wrap them just like a trading card and everything. It's really cool. It was really cool to see. All right. And then so I went to grab a couple of them because I was like, I really want these. And I met a few people there. They're just like, yeah, man, I'm not going to open mine. I'm going to wait and see, and then I'm going to sell it. And then we'll go from there. I was just like, motherfucker, I'm going to open this shit right here. Why not? Because I want to have that joy again of when you get to open a card, a Pokemon cards, and just be like, what do I have? What can I get? This is awesome. I'm going to keep all of these. Because when you're a kid, it's not just about selling shit. I feel like a lot now, especially today, when it comes to like reselling and stuff like that, it's all about that. It's all about just making money off of it. I'm just trying to see which ones I have, and maybe if I didn't like one of them, I can sell them and stuff like that, which I've done because I got like different ones that are all the same. So I'm like, I might as well sell them. But I get to keep the ones that I really like and go from there. And I just kind of hate the fact that people can't even experience that like joy anymore. Like they feel, well, this can make a lot of money, so I'm just going to keep it and sell it, instead of just being like, I'm going to enjoy this moment and open this deck up and be like, hey, there's Charizard, my favorite, of course. And by the way, I got a Charizard, so I'm keeping that motherfucker. But yeah, and I just think that I wish people could just take that time and just enjoy shit instead of just thinking about how can I sell this, how can I make money off of this, because that really
Do you
takes
think that's
away.
do you think that's like a product of like the 20 twins and like the reaction channels and stuff like that came about?
I would probably say so. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
Because everybody just wants to either get a reaction, they want to be, getting views. And then with that, when you get views, you also sometimes get, money and hype that goes along with it. And so I think a lot of people kind of rely on that instead.
Consumerism plays into some of it as well.
Yeah.
And then, you're forced to resell it. So it's a bunch of different things. But I like what Spence said. I like what all of us said about that. That was something random that came out of this podcast is if there's something that you enjoy, you don't have to monetize it. And I think it's a good thing to bring up, especially with the neurodivergent folks that listen or anyone, is if you do something, you don't have to make money. It could be just for free and you can give it away, because watching someone else's face when they get that thing or they get that token or affirmation, whatever it is, whatever you're good at, that is joy. That's the reason why I do therapy. That's the reason why you may go into it, Keshawn. It's not strictly for the money. You want to get paid now, but you also like helping people, providing that space, empowering people. Trust me, you'll get into that eventually. You have no idea what good feels like until you stop someone from hurting themselves. When you help someone that's black or brown, specifically me, that stay in school, get a degree, not commit suicide, to get in healthy relationships, to get married, it's like, it is fucking nuts that you had the skills to help them get to the next place. There's no better joy. When a student comes to your office with some food and on the last session you sit there and eat and you're just like happy as shit and it's like an hour-long cry session on how they're thankful. It's nuts. We were at my birthday dinner the other day, Spence, right on Friday, and they go, wow, you got all this for your birthday from students? And like, we don't ever get stuff like that. And they go, why do your students love you so much? I thought about that when I was working out last night. I said, because I'm not a therapist first. I'm a human first that happens to be a therapist. Human, then therapist. A lot of folks are coming in as straight, the Bible therapist, and that hurts. Also, which we'll get into when we talk about Ahsoka in the coming weeks, when you've been through some stuff, you know what the student is thinking quicker and faster. You can formulate it better for them, and they don't have to explain themselves to me only one time. So you feel really trusting and really validated when I can interpret everything you said, even though you said a bunch of words that make no fucking sense. I'm like, I don't know what the hell you just said, but like, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It don't make sense, but I got it. So what you said is, I'm not gonna. I was gonna say something inappropriate. I'm not gonna say. What you said is you about to stab Bobby. That's what you.
Oh, good. I'm glad you went with stabbing instead.
I did. So as we go back to the scene, what stuck out for you, Keshawn, in that scene? What was your favorite part in that scene? The whole entire Yes Man scene.
What stuck out to me, I think, is just like the words that he used as far as like breaking. He didn't even know him. Like that was like his first time like entering in. He's like broke down his entire life within like the last few years, I guess, for Carl. And like you don't. I think that's just something like of a connection. Like you don't even have to know the person to know like what they're going through. So him like choosing out like he does nothing, like he got out of a relationship, hard to masturbate, stuff like that. It's just like hitting him like in the core to like actually feel something like why you should say yes to life. Like, well, look where you're at right now. Like it's not doing anything for you.
Yep. So there's a lot of contextual things that you can pull together to figure out why someone's in your office, especially if you're a therapist or at one of those seminars, motivational seminars. Obviously, something's not going right if you're at a motivational seminar or if you're in therapy. Like there's a reason why you're there. So you can pull at some things, but for him to just go in on them, that's intense. Spence, I'm going to take you back. Tell folks, you remember when we went to the theme park and we went to go get those wands at the Harry Potter land and then homeboy just broke us all down?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was something. That dude, you almost started crying. I was shocked.
I did cry.
Yo, you did cry. You did cry. I always forget. I don't know if you almost cry or do cry in that story. I always forget.
Tell people what happened there and how this person just pretty much just.
Yeah. So we went to Universal Studios in Orlando. Shout out to them if they want to give us free passes. And we went to the Harry Potter section of one of the parks, right? Diagon Alley. And we went to go get wands because we're like, we got lights. I got a dark saber from Disney. I might as well get a wand while we're there, right? And so we go to Ollivanders, and they have these people there that literally pick you out. They go, all right, what are you interested in? What's your birthday? They give you like all these random things that they ask, and then you tell them, and then they deep dive into like exactly who you are. First, they don't just go for the wand; they go for who you are and exactly how your personality is. Like there's some type of reader or something, because they knew exactly who we were before. And then they give you a wand. I'm just like, damn, I don't even know if I want this wand anymore. Because you just read my whole life. I just want to sit here and talk to you.
I know.
And they did that for us. They did it for me. They did it for Salim, and then they did it for Nas. And yeah, Nas literally started crying when they pointed out Salim and his personality and stuff like that. And even for you, your personality, they were very on point too. And so I forgot the dude's name, but whatever it was, man, shout out to you if you ever see this. You are very talented when it comes to reading people.
And he's like, I'm probably neurodivergent too. And I was like, I think you are, but that's a different story for a different day.
I'm just here to get a wand, but
the way he was able to read us and give us these wands and then give us our whole personality was awesome at the Ollivanders. I highly recommend that people to go there. You don't just buy the wand, that you talk to the people, and they only ask you like 3 questions, and then boom, they tell you what your personality is. It's nuts.
What year did y'all go? I went in 2020. Like they didn't do that. I ended up getting Voldemort's wand, but like they didn't ask us anything.
We went in 2021 after COVID, and then that's when 2021 after COVID.
Maybe you just felt the spirit in us. It's just like
yeah, no, there was people helping people out. Right, there
Yeah.
was people helping people out that worked there, and you're supposed to give them the information, then you get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe it was less when you went there because there was more COVID-y than when we went.
Yeah, I went around December 2020.
Yeah,
Oh,
so that's probably what it was. Yeah, it was pretty cool, man. I want you to bring that up because that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
And if you get a good therapist, that's what it feels like. So this is where I'm gonna go with
grilling
this.
session.
I'm telling you, man, this is where you go with this. Every single time I like start laying it down in the office. I'm like, so this is what's going on, this, and this, and this is how you felt. And they're like, yes. And that's when they start to cry. Because they're like, someone understands. Someone understands that I'm not broken or I'm not crazy, that this is all normal shit and I'm a normal person going through a really hard time. And they usually cry, and then they always, every time without a doubt, I'm sorry for crying. And I'm like, this is literally therapy. Like, shut the and just cry. No, but I'm like crying in front of people. I'm like, well, you're crying in front of me. It's fine. Absolutely, you want me to cry with you? I'll do it. I could do it. It happened this week. And I said, what's wrong? I said, why you keep distracting and talking about other things? He said, I'm trying not to cry. And this other human said, why are you talking so soft? Like, it was like, I couldn't even hear him in the office, Spence. I was like, what? They said, if I talk any louder, I'll cry. I said, ooh, I haven't heard that one before. They said, I'm spending all my energy to stop myself from falling apart and having another panic attack. So then I lowered my voice. We continued to have the conversation, continue to regulate them and get them to a different place where they could go do their thing. It's very powerful when you can show someone the mirror of themselves without the flaws and imperfections that they think is like horrible. And you're like, this is actually okay. It's when you put that microphone on them. Well, give me a sec. I ain't got no. Picture this as a microphone. That's when you hit him.
Yeah.
Because he was like, tell me
Yeah,
how you
nose
feel.
curve.
I should do that in the office next time. I feel like that's an immediate HR complaint, though. So.
Probably. I'm gonna say probably. Just hit them with a microphone.
Yep. Because that's when you put it on them, and then they have to talk, and then they can't find the words. So my favorite part of the scene is at the end, or in that moment where you can see him like start to cry. Because he's like, oh shit. It's like when you're at church or something and people start catching that Holy Ghost, the spirit. It's the same thing happens in therapy. They catch a whiff of validation and safety, which allows people to fall apart. It allows them the space to fall apart without fear of judgment or retaliation. That's a wonderful scene. Something I want to get your idea, Spence. So he talked about this being stuck. So maybe I have Key go and Spence go. I feel like we've all been there where we're stuck. So Key, do you remember a time when you were stuck, maybe other than the breakup, that you felt like this stuck thing? And then I'll kick it to Spence too. And did you feel like you just needed to stay in there, or how the hell did you get out of being stuck?
You want me to go first, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I've been in that position where I felt like stuck. Whether it's been like with a job or like relationship or just like in life in general. Whenever I feel that way, I try to do new things because I feel like I'm stuck in a rut. I'm like doing literally the same thing, like verbatim day after day, eating the same things or keeping the same schedule. So I try to like break out from that, like, and try to be self-aware as possible and realize that I'm doing the same things and I need to like stop doing the same things. Sometimes it's not as that simple as like just stating that out, but it's hard like breaking out of that a little bit.
Especially if you know it's like a bad pattern. If it's a good pattern and everything's working like a fine old machine, then you're good.
Yeah.
But if you feel like it's off or you're stuck or it's monotonous or life sucking, soul sucking, then you obviously got to change.
Right.
Spence, when's the last time you felt stuck?
I guess trying to find a job. I've mentioned this a couple times in a few pods, and like you do interviews and shit like that, and then nothing pans out. It just feels like you're in the same place over and over again. And I've been, and I've been able to do a few more interviews and things like that, and I felt way more like natural and I'm coming off, but you just know, sometimes you just know when it doesn't go well, right? And so it's adjusting what I have to do to kind of move forward with these job positions. And it's always different, right? Because sometimes they're looking for personality, sometimes they're looking for skills, sometimes they're looking for blah blah blah. It's just annoying. But yeah, I mean, I've definitely felt stuck with that. Because I want to be doing my profession in a more I want to do it in a higher way than I've been doing it in the past, right? And so I feel like I want to get to this next step, but at the same time I'm not taking those steps forward because I'm not doing that career thing anymore, right?
Yep.
But at the same time, I've also been able to, let out my creativity when it comes to like the show, and being able to, speak with, great guests just like you, Keshawn, and stuff like that, and being able to work on my social cues and what questions to ask, and how I go forward with that. And so it's not always going to be, sometimes you can't have a plan with it. Sometimes it just comes out and you just kind of have to roll with it. But yeah, I mean, definitely been stuck before. I'm kind of curious now as where have you been stuck? Has it been like a recent thing, or are you talking more about like, back in the day?
There's multiple different things. I've talked about different stuff, mental health, depression, suicidality that I had in the past, right? There's stuck. There's also, I feel like, just plateauing.
Yeah.
You hit that plateau in maybe your art, music, weightlifting, whatever it is. There's just like that plateau, and it really sucks, makes you want to quit and give up. You're like, what the fuck's the point? I've got all this time and effort, I'm not progressing. And you are. It's just very small incremental increases in things. Sometimes not regressing is progressing. I feel like this is the hardest thing with people, especially when they're at a young age, like Keshawn was talking about, right out of high school, then you're doing the military stuff. And I feel like people feel stuck in that time because they don't know what they're going to do. They don't know where they're going to go. They don't know what the next step is. But as you said earlier, you're not technically lost because all these options are technically good options. There's no real long-term output that you're looking for. So you couldn't have failed because we're still figuring it out and your future's still molding in front of your eyes. Every choice that you make is still molding your future. And it's never a failure until you completely give up on everything. It just isn't. So probably stuck more when I was younger. Always felt stuck. Always felt like a plateau, like I'm not going anywhere. It just takes so long to live life and to make money. It takes so long to get to where the fuck you want to be. And obviously, Key, this isn't the last place you want to be. Like, you're still, how old are you?
I'm 26.
26, right? So you still got a lot of time to figure out a lot of stuff. I ain't gonna lie, the other day I looked at Pops and it was like 7 a.m. And I said, I don't know how much longer I can do this shit. He said, what do you mean? I said, I got another 30, 40 years of doing the same shit, going 9 to 5. I said, this don't make no damn sense. He said, well, good luck at work today. I was like, man, fuck you, man. Yeah, man, fuck you, man. And I love my job, but it's just like, damn, 30 years of doing this shit. But it'll evolve, and I'll always be doing different things, right? So I'll never technically be stuck. But sometimes things seem like they go on way too long.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't feel stuck now. I did probably during COVID, especially.
Right. Yeah.
And with jobs, when my license was, I had to get tested for that. It was a lot of feelings of being stuck and trapped. Remember when me and you were boys? Oh, I was going to mention something. When you broke up with Homegirl, I said, and we started hanging out more, that's the most me and you've ever worked out in years. We was working out, playing ball, 4 hours a day. We was both in the best shape of our lives.
I know. Yeah. And now I'm like,
yeah, but you got that comfort weight.
Yep, I'm comfortable now.
You
I ain't
got
gotta. I'm eating again.
Yeah, I'm eating again. I'm fat and happy, boy. That's when you know you're happy. Well, some people can be fat and sad. That's a different story. But
As
you
I
got that
will.
comfort weight. Things I wanted to bring up is that plateau. It can be tough for a lot of folks. I think for a lot of folks that are neurodivergent, then they might also not be able to tell what they're feeling and why, the alexithymia, and if they're in that stuck or plateau. Because then the next question is, how do I get out of the plateau? Why it's good to seek advisement and consultation to help you maybe process a few things, to get pinpoints and data points of where you're at and what's the next steps, what's the next goals. I'm going to take us sideways here real quick.
All right.
Because he did talk about it, and we're all dudes here. And we talked about it before on the Austin Powers podcast about Mojo. But folks that have depression or high anxiety, there might be some impotency issues or sexual dysfunction issues that may happen with your body. We're all grown-ass adults here. So this is stuff, and if you ain't, then you probably shouldn't be listening to this podcast. I got on it explicit content. So you ain't suing my ass. You ain't suing mine. You ain't getting shit no way. But it's a thing that people should know, right? You shouldn't be ashamed of that. So when someone's depressed, lower serotonin levels, maybe lower testosterone levels, just in general, that there might be some libido decrease, where you might not be body physically unable to perform to what it needs to do, or there might be an inability to climax or things like that. Might be an inability to become stimulated or aroused mentally, yet let alone physically. You may see that as you're not interested in your partner at the time. You may see that as, like, let's say you're in a relationship and all of a sudden the depression kicks in. And everything's fine, but the depression kicks in. But now there's like this intimacy issue, physical one. And your partner's like, oh, you don't love me. And the other person's like, no, I don't know what's going on. It's got nothing to do with you. And that can start a lot of relationship issues when actually the issue is that person going through depression in that moment and their neurochemistry being a little off. I mean, it makes sense if you think about it. Like, you're depressed or sad about something, or maybe there was a passing family member died. Like, you're not wanting to be physically active. That makes no sense. Why would you want to be sexually active? So him in this moment when the guy's like, yeah, you can't even do this. That felt like a gut shot for most dudes. But in actuality, it's a very common symptom with people with depression, with high isolation, is inability to have any sexual drive. Now, of course, there's other people that won't affect them at all. Or maybe they're ace or aromantic, and so that's not really a worry. But for a lot of humans, it is. A lot of humans, it is a worry. So we're specifically just talking about depression, that people that do have heteronormative, or I guess technically, I didn't have to say heteronormative, but like normal sexual function issues. What were we going to ask about asexuality?
Oh, with like, is there like a link between like depression and people thinking they're asexual?
So, I've had some clients with thinking that they were asexual because of not being emotionally intimate with their partner, so not being fully into their partner, and they're like, "Oh, maybe I'm ace." I'm like, "I think you don't like your partner." For a couple of people, I'm like, "I'm pretty sure you're gay," and they're like, "Well, no, I'm just bi." I'm like, "Yeah, you think you're bi, but I'm pretty sure you're gay." And those are one of my favorite conversations because it leads to a lot of introspection. It leads into a lot of emotional intimacy processing between them and their partner, conversations. Those breakups usually don't end very poorly. They usually end up okay as a good dialogue. I've also had it with some of my young men that they've either had depression or they were on antidepressants, and they thought that possibly they were ace, and then some folks will get off of it and then find the libido increases. Specifically, though, I've had some women with either antidepressants or birth control. And that will change, like, hormones, neurochemicals. And some folks will get off of it and find like they're fine. Some folks will find it's just their partner. ACE is intriguing. There's so much gray area, Keshawn. There's so much gray area. Most of the time, though, when you're not interested. And in saying that, some people If they meet the right person, they're maybe a little bit more demi. We find out that when they get more intimacy emotionally and they get connected and over months or years, then they can maybe do some of the more physical stuff. Maybe it's not all the other wild, wet, and crazy stuff. Maybe just hand holding, cuddling could lead to more kissing, could lead to things like that.
Right.
Does it happen? Yes. It's a little bit more rare, but it does happen where the depression will get in the way. If they're already in a relationship show, though, it's not that they think that they're ace. They usually think that they're falling out of love. When in actuality, it could be the relationship that's making them depressed. But usually it's like other things. Usually people find themselves stuck, Keshawn. Or like, what was the point? I made a lot of bad choices. And that can come off very wrong when you're talking to your partner. Like, yeah, I made a lot of bad choices. And I don't like where my life ended up. And your partner looks at you like, well, fuck me then. So I'm one of your bad choices, huh? Okay. Yep. Stabbing your ass tonight, taking the insurance money. Yeah, good to know. Don't ever look at your partner like, I hate my life choices.
Jeez.
That for you, right? Like, nah, bitch. I know what the fuck you saying.
I know what you said to me. But I just wanted to bring up ED issues. Shouldn't be afraid to talk about sexual issues, sexual dysfunction. It's a part of life for a majority of folks. I'm not going to ask anyone to go into detail on their own stuff. Unless you want to. Spence, did you have any more questions about the scene for Key?
Well, actually, I just wanted to ask Keshawn, what got you to want to be a therapist or a life coach?
Probably like within high school, I had a friend who was trans, so like I was always like there in their corner. Like the first time I ever so I graduated like in 2015. So around that time when gay marriage like was legalized, my sister is gay, so was like learning a lot about that stuff. Trans people are like new to me. My best friend came out that way, so like I was like that first link of that person that they told. So like always in a corner, always listening, always wanted to understand on a human level, like people in general. So that carried out like throughout the years, like in my adulthood. Like what I'm doing now, like with the Army and stuff like that, I work in logistics. Like I don't want to work with stuff and equipment and stuff like that. I want to work with people and have that human connection.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Naz.
I had a good question and I lost it.
Damn it.
Spencer had a good one. Why'd you want to go into it? And then I was going to say, God damn it.
It'll click back. I already know you.
Yeah, it was something about, so you like helping people. Oh, there it is. Drawing. So does any of your empathy, compassion, love for people, does any of that go into your drawing and art?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I'm not an artist myself. Like I can't make a stick doodle. So like everything I do with talking to artists and stuff like that, commission based, is like learning where they're from. Like I've always felt like I've gotten to travel all over the world and never take a step like outside of my house, because like I'm able to talk to like so many people from different many countries and like see what their art is about, how they find like their unique style, and like commission something that's unique to me. And now that's a part of them. That's a part of my life now. It hangs up in my wall in my home, and I get to carry that all around with me. So especially like coming from like getting into art from the pandemic era when everyone pretty much needed help. And like I can only do so much. I have like a frugal budget. Like I try to like balance off everything, but helping them like release like artistic ideas, not getting like stuck in a rut. Now I have like my whole core group of friends and artists, because I feel like they're more than that now. I help them out. I see like their positions like in life and get to watch them grow, get to watch their art get better, their life get better. And it's nice to know that I'm a small piece of part of that.
Got it. And so I could see you maybe implementing that in your therapy with having some of the more creative individuals like express through that. So if you're good at coaxing out that with other folks and maybe being the collaborator, the middleman, which a social worker is a lot of the times, then that actually skill should play very well with therapy. It's the reason why we do this damn podcast. People, I've sent out like 40 DMs to people yesterday, just because we always go in spurts. We'll interview a lot of people and then we'll take a little bit of a break. So now we're getting towards the end of that with yours, and then maybe a few other folks that are neurodivergent. Not therapists, just neurodivergent content creators. And I sent it out, big net, and people were asking like, "Oh, so why did you start doing this?" And I said specifically to creative ways help people express things. So the same thing that we're doing is kind of what you're talking about. Okay, I like that. I like that. I like it a lot.
I like it a lot. I love that y'all do it through movies and TV shows and stuff like that. I absolutely love that.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes there's like music videos that some clients want me to use, but then it gets copyright so fast, so we can't use any of the damn music videos.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think movies.
You could probably do the lyrics, like read out the lyrics.
Look, that'd be going back to when we first started doing the show, and we didn't have any clips. We had to talk through each and every clip that we did, and it was intense. Yeah, we're just like, this song's about
good love. This song is about taquitos.
Yes. This is I'm not gonna get into it. But yeah, I think movies and shows, I still have like all my VHSs. I love movies. I love watching all of that stuff. Movies and TV shows were like my just like my passions, I guess, when I was growing up. And so that's how I kind of use it, especially for ideas on shows. But then of course Nas actually uses clips in his therapy, so that people can kind of help express themselves. And so that's how this has come to be, and it's just been proven to be a way that people really like to view things.
Yeah,
efficable. It's been efficable for a lot of people, and fun. So let's hop on this ride real quick, and then we'll skedaddle. Is not auditing life, and the whole theme of this is saying yes.
Hey, this is your co-host Spencer, and I'm bringing you a special message from our collaborator, Silver Dollar Candles. They have great scents to go with great messages, just like Best Dad Ever, True Crime and Chill, and my personal favorite, When This Candle Is Lit, Give Me That. You can also make your own candle and message that fits you. So go use our link in our link tree to get your order placed with Silver Dollar Candles today.
So saying yes is tough. Saying yes to extroverted people being introverted is tough. Saying yes to new experiences, like Spence said, getting out of that comfort zone, even though we know that all of the learning and progress in life usually comes outside of that comfort zone. That's a tough sell in therapy, though, to tell someone like, hey, this is our options. These are some of the things that we need to do. And that's like, you kind of want to shake them. I said we would talk about it. You kind of want to shake the people like, we need to do this. Sometimes you have to let people know why they should probably do this. And I'm not supposed to advise you. I can't make choices for you, but I'm like, this is what could happen if you do this and what you do this. You try to make them like binded, or at least understanding all the context of why we're moving towards this goal that you technically told me you wanted, but this is why we need to do it. It's a hard sell sometimes. Sometimes people aren't ready to progress in their life as much as you want them to, and that's hard to swallow because it's at their pace. So if you've already been saying no, and it got you to my office, obviously that shit ain't working. Whatever you was doing led you to the motivational speaker of him and saying yes. So something ain't right. I got all the love for you. You made it here. You don't need me because you didn't need me before, but I'm going to help you get to the next place, which is you want to have more happiness, whatever it is. And I'm saying that you need to say yes to a few opportunities. It's a tough place to be when you just want to say no. But if you continue to say no, you will be lost. I want to use that word in like this random place of nothingness. Because it's not leading to any new experiences, and you're not actually going down any paths other than being stagnant in that one place. You're being stuck in the mud. You're a quicksand. just saying no to everything. Well, there has to be some yeses to things, and I think that's a really good point of the movie. Is saying yes to some things could lead you into some horrible shit, but also there is a statistical better chance that you're going to actually do some things you like, because we know in your room that dreamboat you've been telling me that you want, that beautiful relationship with this awesome person, if they ain't just gonna pop up in your room, and like I always tell my people, if that motherfucker does pop up in your room, run.
Yeah. How'd you get in here? Love.
Bobby?
Bobby. Good old Bobby. Always coming into the room when he shouldn't.
And so think about that. New experiences, there have to be some things that you have to say yes to.
Sure.
And sometimes you have to be a little pushy, as I was this week with one of my clients. I started to backtrack on some things. I said, what are we doing here, man? We're backtracking on this shit. We had a plan. You was going through with the plan for the last 6 months, and now you backing out at the last second? Well, you don't understand. Now, I said, I understand. Now, let me keep teasing you real quick, and then I'm going to put some love on you in a minute. Sometimes you feel like you want to shake some people. Come on, man. Just say yes to the dress. Yes. So I'll end up with you two. When was the last few times where you didn't want to do something and you said yes and it ended up pretty good?
Ooh, you could start, Keshawn, because I gotta think about
that. Sorry about that. I would say for me, like the last time I was ever in that situation was actually coming to Germany. Okay. I had a lot more options than this. I could have went to Washington. I could have went to Korea, like anything. So in taking a new job as well, because I'm stepping into a new position right now than I have been for the last 7 years. So doing something completely new in a completely new country. My family is like a day and a half flight away. Like doing this was like really a hard decision like in my life. I'm 26. I won't be back in the States until I'm like 30. So making that step and like wanting to do that was really, it was tough. It took like a lot of thinking process to like do this.
Anxiety. Fear. What will happen?
But, yeah, I think I'm gonna be better for it though.
Yeah. Everything can be data points for the future and experiences, wisdom. Yeah. Spence, what are you thinking? When was the last time you said yes to something? For me, it'll be real quick. For me, it was the book club that I didn't want to join, and then I did it, and I hated going, and then I eventually always loved going. It was the book club.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. I don't know, man. It's tough for me because I'm able to kind of really do things. It's so tough. I'm trying to think. I mean, it would have to probably be last time would have been when I can't even think of shit. I really can't. I can't think of nothing. That's the thing.
I know you used to be picky with foods, so maybe that was it.
I wouldn't say that was like last time because I've been able to do that pretty well. But that is one thing that I've really grown to really like is the fact that I can now try things. And actually, you helped me out with that. You were one of the reasons why, because
I'm like, man, let's try this random shit.
Yeah, like let's just try it. It'll be good. And then it's kind of tough to be picky when you're around people. Because I can do it when I'm like by myself or like when I was younger with my mom and stuff, I could do that because she, would just be like, okay, I'll just make this or whatever. But when you're with other people, they're just like, man, you're not even going to try it or anything. Just like,
right.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to do anything. You sound like you're stubborn and some stuff. So sometimes and it was a really great thing because now I try so many other different foods, see how it is. If I don't like it, then cool. But yeah. And don't get me wrong, I have a little bit picky still, a little bit.
Oh yeah, we all
you put eggs in front of me, I'm like, get that shit away from me. Always be like that. So yeah, that is a good thing. Especially when it comes to like picky foods. I was always kind of nervous about like traveling and stuff. But then once COVID happened, I immediately was like, okay, I'm definitely going to want to do this now because When you don't have the option anymore to do anything, that really makes you want to go do things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that was one thing too.
Yeah, it's surprised when you're given no options that you want options.
Yeah.
And when you have all the options, you don't want to choose any of the options. We are so fucking weird as humans. God, we're terrible. We're just perpetually miserable about everything.
I'm happy about it.
Key, you got any seasoning to put on any of the stuff so we can wrap up today? Anything you want to leave the people with before we give them all your details again?
Yeah, my final remarks would be like, think about the asterisk in life on your tombstone from your birthday to your death date. Every day within between is going to be your life story, so live it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yep.
So,
I agree.
Keshawn, do you want to give some details about where people can find some of your clothing? And then also, do you want to give a list of those artists that you have?
Yeah, so again, my brand is Lost Soul. I don't know, you can probably see it here. It's like shaky. Lost Soul is my clothing brand. You can find us at it's lostclothing97.com. It's through Shopify. I had to get that because someone took the Lost Soul like branding already. So yeah, it's 97. You can follow me at my Instagram, Keshawn KH3. It's KESHAWNJONES KH3. I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan. And then Lost Soul clothing brand. That's my other Instagram page. And then you can follow all of my artists there at their names are kind of hard to like pronounce, but
you know what, we'll link them. We'll link them in there.
Exactly.
And then we'll
all my artists will be linked down with them. Thank you for that, and thank you for the opportunity to bring me on. This was like super random for me to do this. In saying yes to it, I would usually say no to stuff like this, but I wanted to put myself out there and put my my artists out there as well, and especially like anyone who knows me. So thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Thank you, Keshawn.
Yes.
It's been a very awesome conversation. You've been asking some really good questions too. So I know you're gonna try to start your own pod, man. I know. I feel it.
I'm not gonna tell y'all things.
Like, video clips.
I know. I'm about to hire your ass so you and sign you to a non-compete clause. That's what I'm gonna do.
When I get my degree, like, think about it.
There you go.
Okay. We got a couple more years, Spence.
Just a few more, and then it's gonna be either competition or you're gonna be on our team. Either way.
Either way.
I love it. All right. Well, thank you once again, Keshawn. We really appreciate it. Go check out his clothing brand, Lost Soul. He has some great stuff on his website, so please go check him out. With that, this has been the Different Spectrums podcast. Before we go check out our collaborators, Bub's Naturals, Cure Hydration. We also got Pinfinity, Silver Dollar Candle, Two Nerds Candle Company, and also Cat and Raven Company. So go please check them out. You can get up to 20% off if you use our code DSP or DSP20, or by going on our link tree, which has all of our collaborators and also some self-help resources. So go please check those out for us. And when Nas mentioned this earlier, I totally forgot. Thank you for calling it out. Go check out the Spotify polls. If you're on Spotify, go check out our polls and fill them out for us. It's really easy. Just click. That's it. That's all you gotta do. And if you're using any other media platform to listen to us, go into our comment section and comment some answers, some questions. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. We'd really appreciate it, and we'll try to answer you as best we can. And with that, I'm Spencer. That's Nas. This is a Different Spectrums podcast.
All right, everyone. Much love. And remember, take care of yourselves.
Or don't.
And that shit's up to you. Good luck, peeps.
Bye.
Bye.